heathens, take it slow.
What's going on, everybody?
Wait for them to ask you who you know.
Welcome to the Stenosis podcast, or the SlogCast, as some of you know it.
You don't know the half of the abuse.
Let's go.
All my friends are heathens, take it slow. Wait for them to ask you who you know. Please don't make any sudden moves. You don't know the half of the abuse.
Well, that's fancy, isn't it? See, I have a little music stuff at the beginning of this SlogCast. It is the podcast, but I call it the SlogCast. Those of you who have followed me on YouTube for any amount of time know that I have a play on words. It started off with Stenosis vlogs. I was like, no, that gotta have something more original than that. So I turned it into slog for, Stenosis vlog. Just take the V off of it, put an S on there, call it good at that. And that was pretty cool. I like that. I like having a play on words like that. So I went with slog. And then I started doing an audio thing only on YouTube. And I was like, well, what am I going to call this? I don't like sticking with traditional words. So I figured, well, I have a slog, which was a Stenosis vlog. I don't even know if they would be even considered vlogs. I don't know. I guess if you don't do it like Casey does, then would it still be a vlog? I mean, it would be, but a lot of people wouldn't consider any. Best besides the point. You'll find that I get off track quite a bit, and I get to rambling off in different areas. And so I had the slog. Decided to do an audio only thing on YouTube there. I figured, what am I going to call this? It's a podcast. Well, I have the slog. Why don't I call it the SlogCast, the Stenosis Vlog Podcast? It's a different way of doing a vlog. It's an audio only version, so it's a podcast anyway. Without putting a label on it, I decided to put my own label on it. So I guess I did put a label on it, but whatever. So what have I been doing lately? I had a moment there away from YouTube for about 4 months, which at some point I might get into and explain why. Wow, that's a story. I'd like to write a book about my life, because there's so much that a lot of people just, everybody who knows about stenosis, just does not know. There's a lot that I've done and whatnot. I'd like to write a book one day, but I have no idea how to write a book. I really don't. It's kind of a depressing factor. I don't know how to do a lot of stuff, like marketing myself. Pretty shitty about that. I don't do that very well either. I've never been an egotistical type or an arrogant type, or one to really speak loudly about the stuff that I do. I enjoy doing what I do. I'm a songwriter and a musician, and I like writing albums, and I like singing and playing guitar and drumming, which if you follow me on Instagram as Stenosis Music, you'll see that I got a new drum set. I've been really excited about that, just been beating the shit out of it too. And so I have the SlogCast now. This is going to be a regular thing. I won't say exactly when I'll do it right now, because if I say, well, I'm going to do it every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, well, we're just going to play it by ear. Right now, I'd like to do twice a week, and eventually, what my plans are is to do it 5 days a week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Take the weekend off because I'm an adult. I can do that. But I'm going to turn this into a regular thing, a regular podcast of a vlog of my life. And Stenosis SlogCast. That's the name of it. It's going to be on the YouTube channel and also on the Stenosis website at stenosismusic.net, which you can find a lot of stuff on there. My music is on there, and it's on Bandcamp for free. I opened all my music up for free, and I'll get into that in a later SlogCast episode. But I think that this is a good first SlogCast, give you an introduction to it. And I spent a lot of hours working on the website and working on that CSS stuff, trying to code things, and that's an area where I probably shouldn't wander around in. I've not had any formal education on coding websites, whether it be HTML or anything like that. Basically what I do is I right click and I find the Google inspect thing. I use Google Chrome as my browser, and I do the inspect thing, which that's kind of a dangerous thing for a person like myself to figure out how to do, because then you go around and you're like, oh, well, this is what this looks like, and I can kind of change that if I type in the right combination of stuff that the computer wants to read. And then therein lies the problem, because I'll sit there and just try a combination of stuff, and I wrote over 108 lines of code in one day, just hours behind the screen, and my eyes hurt pretty bad by the time I was done with it. But you just go through it, 'cause I have this, and I use WordPress, which was a daunting task to learn initially. Whenever I went through and created the Stenosis website the second time, I guess, because it was set up, I had it hosted through another service, and it wasn't very great, so I moved it over to Bluehost, actually. And I think it looks a lot better now. It's a lot more clean. First version of the Stenosis website, I mean, I do all this stuff myself and by the seat of my pants, so the first version was really busy and rough, and I was like, oh yeah, we gotta make everything visible all at the same time, and it was kind of overwhelming. But here we are in the new one, and I would go through and in my template thing, design, layout, whatever you want to call it in WordPress, there's this little section that I can go into that's additional CSS or something, or edit CSS. You can go in there and you can add additional code, which will change some of the features on your website. And of course, I find out about that, and I'm like, well, here we go. Got to mess with this. Push buttons, type things in, hit enter, nothing happens. Well, there I thought I knew what I was doing. There, no changes, right? And because you have to word this stuff exactly the way that it's laid out in the program, so that it reads what it's supposed to read. I'm going through and I'm like, okay, well, is it a number sign, or what most younger people know is a hashtag? I guess almost everybody knows it is a hashtag now. I knew it was a number sign or pound sign. So is it the hashtag and then the address to whatever we're trying to, say it's like a comment box, or it's an email box, and is it or a period, and then is it a class or an ID, and a lot of confusing stuff that I had to teach myself, and I probably did an absolutely horrible job teaching myself. Almost guarantee it, because my method was type stuff in, see what happens. And you can get into a lot of trouble when doing that. I know that because I deleted my website once. That was a little difficult to figure out. But I had to go through and actually find on the developer's website of my website template, I had to go through and find all of the stock code that they have for that template. I had to highlight the whole thing, which if you know anything about CSS code, or I'm assuming even HTML, that's a lot for an entire website. I had to highlight all of that, copy it, and paste it over into my folder, because I made the mistake of editing the actual folder of my template on my website rather than using this little section on my website that's additional stuff. So that was almost a very, very costly mistake. And I'll go through on this additional CSS thing and type it in, hit enter, nothing happens about 90% of the time. And then I get lucky and I change something somewhere, somehow, and the box that I'm looking at moves a little bit. Oh, hey, I'm onto something. And then from there, after that, it's a little easier, because you can do like padding and margins and margin left and top, bottom, and color of text or something. And so I get to figuring it out after that. I spend a lot of hours doing that here. I don't even know what today is. And it's worked out. I like the way it looks now. And like I said, the SlogCast will be posted there also. And I would prefer, I guess, in a way that you listen to it on the website. It'd give the website more traction, but at the same time, the YouTube views, which in this case will be listens, are nice too. I think on the website, the way I have it set up, I think I'll have to test this, and I was planning on testing it before doing this today, but I guess I didn't. I think that you can listen to it on the website, and if you're on your phone, you can dim your phone, and I think it'll keep going. I'm not sure. More than likely, now that I said that, I'm wrong. But we'll find out. And if I can make it that way, if it's not, then I'm going to. And then that'll help you guys out if you're doing something throughout your day. Because YouTube, unless you have, well, I think YouTube Red, which I don't. And if you dim your screen, then the sound goes away. And you don't want the sound to go away when you're listening to something. That kind of defeats the purpose. So if it's not set up that way, I'm going to, on the website, make it to where you can dim your phone, or you can continue doing something else, kind of like SoundCloud does, which I guess I should upload these to SoundCloud too, just in case. So, I can't figure that out on the website, but going in many directions here, uploading to just everywhere, I guess. Anyway, this is the SlogCast. It's going to be a regular thing. I'll let y'all know whenever it comes out. I have somewhere on my website that you can put your email in if you want to. Oh, it's actually on the SlogCast page. That's right. That's one of the things that I was doing all the CSS on, because I didn't like the way it looked before, and now I do, because there's no reason for the name and email boxes to be screen wide, left to right. There's no need for that. Nobody's name is that long, and I had to change that. Just had to change it. It was bugging me, and then I rounded the corners a little bit because I'm fancy. So if you want, you could put your email in there. I'd really appreciate it. I'm not going to spam you with anything. It's just a thing where whenever I post a new SlogCast, you'll get updated about it, and then you can come listen to my ramblings of the day. Hopefully it'll make your day better. So with that, I'll leave you here. Don't want to make this too long. It'll be like the Joe Rogan show. Sometimes his stuff is 2.5 hours. I really like the Joe Rogan podcast. I just watched the one recently. He had Billy Corgan on there. Wonderful, wonderful interview. Billy Corgan, I'm not the biggest Smashing Pumpkins fan, but man, do I respect his work in the music industry. I really do. And he's not afraid to admit when he's wrong, which if you watch the Joe Rogan podcast with him in there, you'll find out. But thanks for listening today. Like I said, my music is free on Bandcamp, or you can buy it on iTunes and Google Play and stuff like that. Find me on Spotify. Stream it on there. I know that's backwards of what most artists say and do. But no, I have a profile there on Spotify, so find me on there. Add my music to your playlist if you want to listen to it while you're doing whatever it is that you do throughout your day. And then share the podcast, SlogCast, if you enjoy it. I want to try to, like I said, I'm horrible at marketing myself, so I really rely on people sharing this stuff. And if you think it's good and you think it's worth sharing, then that means a lot to me. It really does. I do notice whenever people share this stuff, and it does register with me. I don't just go into things blindly. I have a hoodie that I designed. You can find it on the website. It's through my merchandise store, through Zazzle. It's called the Stenosis. I thought that was clever. The Stenosis hoodie, Stenosis. And I really like it. It's getting to be wintertime. It's cold outside, and nobody deserves to freeze to death. So pick you up a hoodie. Everybody who buys a hoodie by New Year's, so midnight on December 31st, everybody who buys a hoodie and takes a picture of themselves on social media, let's say Facebook and Instagram, and puts the hashtag Stenosis, so that's STENOODIE, Stenosis and hoodie put together, if you haven't gathered that, then I'll share it. I'll put it on the Stenosis pages if you want. That'd be pretty cool. It's nice to see whenever other people are wearing the merchandise. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I've impacted somebody's life. And if you have a topic suggestion for a future SlogCast, go over and join the Stenosis Facebook group and like the Stenosis Facebook page. And you can post your topic suggestions in there, and I'll take a look at them, and maybe one day I'll cover what you say on there and get into details. Or if you have questions you want to ask me about anything, put them on there. And you can follow me at Instagram at Stenosis Music, and I do have a Patreon if you'd like to head over there at Stenosis Music also, I think. And it has some special perks that you can gain access to in the Stenosis Discord, where you can privately message me, which you can do that on the Stenosis page anyway. It's really just a way of supporting me and what I do, if I'm honest. I really appreciate everybody who does support me on there. It means a lot. It allows me to continue doing what I do. And here we are, all in the Stenosis atmosphere, and I am Stenosis, the mask behind the face. And I'll see you next time.
Please don't make any sudden moves. You don't know the half of the abuse. Welcome to the room of people who have rooms of people that they loved one day stocked away. Just because we check the guns out the door doesn't mean our brains will change from hand grenades. You're loving on the psychopaths.